Binge watching, the world-renowned culture. Perhaps for serial bingers.
Have you ever found yourself scrolling for hours and hours? Ask yourself this: what were the last 5 TikToks and Instagram Reels you watched? The world we live in now is all based around distractions. We look for a way out, a better, more exciting lifestyle. The reason we have chosen binge watching is because it is a growing problem in today's society, and it is distracting and taking important learning experiences away from young children and adults. People are spending more time in front of a screen scrolling than making genuine connections with the people around them.
Binge watching is a relatively new phenomenon involving watching online videos or streamed content in platforms such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney+, as well as Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. But why is it new? The watching of traditional television programs have been historically restricted by the timetable or schedule of each program. But such restrictions in TV watching have largely been removed nowadays because of online videos or streaming channels. Due to the flexibility of online content, some people may spend hours watching the entire season of movies or scrolling their phone.
As smartphone, laptops, and tablets are becoming an essential tool for everyone, scrolling through social media or watching videos are not perceived as a practice of consumption, or not even as a hobby, but as a daily activity. For most people, binge watching is so routinized into everyday activities such as working or studying. Therefore, research shows that people that are engaged in binge watching are not even mindful or conscious of what they're doing. Consumers engage in binge watching in several ways, driven by convenience, emotional connection, and the desire for entertainment.
Comfort is key when it comes to binge watching. A cozy environment, usually with blankets, pillows, and pairing it with snacks. Consumers watch to distress and relax, losing the sense of time, and the experience becomes transcending. Additionally, binge watching has become a social activity. Friends, partners, peers can get together to have fun, watch, and communicate.
Binge watching generally lasts between 2 to 4 hours, but sometimes can last much longer due to the availability of platforms such as Netflix, Disney, and Neon. This habit has become a modern-day leisure activity and encourages us to watch movies and series for hours on end. Consumers engage in this experience in their free time and on weekends. Research shows that most consumers engage more than once a week, with some watching less frequently but longer sessions depending on the user.
So what causes this consumption behavior?
Well, let's get real. On the inside, we're watching because we love the satisfaction it comes with. After all, it does feel good when we're finished with one season in one go. Though, on the outside, we're keeping up with culture, like the present-day version of staying in the loop, aka also known as cultural inclusion. Stereotypically, you might assume that part-time employed adults or lazy teens make up the majority of binge watchers. But according to research from explodingtopics.com, millennials aged 30 to 44 lead the pack with around 70% active binge watching. Surprisingly, most of those Gen Z category aged 18 to 29 came in second with 69%. You know what that means? Who said young adults were irresponsible with their time? I guess millennials are just coming in as strong. All jokes aside, these stats show how binge watching isn't just a teenage trend. It's a massive part of adult life. It's clear that binge watching is a multi-generational habit, driven by the ease of access to streaming platforms like Disney, Netflix, and its ability to seamlessly fit into the unique lifestyles of different age groups.
Why is it that we would rather get drowned by our couch or beds, spend endless hours in a dim room, eat takeaway noodles, just to watch the new season of Bridgerton in one sitting, over being productive?
Good night, Mr. Bridgerton.
Binge watching taps into both intrinsic and extrinsic motivations. Intrinsic motivation is driven by internal satisfaction and personal enjoyment. Meanwhile, extrinsic motivation involves external factors like social pressures and the desire to stay connected with others.
When it comes to binge watching, Friel's theories can help us understand why we do it. And according to Friel's pleasure principle, we're driven for the need for instant gratification, and binge watching taps into this by delivering us with instant pleasure, so that we can continue watching without pausing. Although there's also a cultural side to it, marketing, advertising, FOMO, the fear of missing out, play huge roles in this as well. Have you noticed how new movies and shows are being marketed like big events? They're even creating toys and visual games to keep people engaged before the release. You're not just watching for fun, you're watching because everyone else is doing the same. Platforms capitalize on this by hyping up new releases, using algorithms to push new shows and making it seem exclusive. It's not just content, it's lifestyle marketing, designed to make sure me and you don't forget about it. In fact, when is Frozen 6 coming out?
Essentially, binge watching had turned us into addicts. Along with cultural inclusivity and current technologies, our mood had also played a huge role in this. Affect control theory argues that our emotions drives our behavior. So, when we are sad, we might actually choose to watch something sad or emotional, hoping to match and process our feelings. This explains why sometimes people choose to binge watch certain genres based on their mood. While it may sound like a stretch, this is becoming a widespread issue, with binge watching turning into a global phenomenon of emotional escapism.
The real issue begins when entertainment morphs itself into a form of escapism. Pine and Gilmore's 4 realms of experience categorizes different experiences based on how actively we participate and whether we absorb or immerse ourselves in them. They categorize entertainment as a passive experience, one where we absorb it mentally, while escapism involves more participation and physical immersion. Binge watching moves from entertainment to escapism. We step into an entirely new dimension and world, one where we temporarily put our life on hold and other tasks to the side instead of facing them and taking responsibility. We dive into different dimensions through visual entertainment, whether it's a gripping drama or gruesome documentary or anime. It takes us away from the life we're living in for a few hours, leading to more unproductivity and ongoing cycles of avoidance.
This habit of binge watching has been amplified by the rise of streaming platforms where entertainment is instantly accessible. Each episode is designed to keep us hooked, with dopamine loops keeping our brains in a constant stimulation. The result? We no longer just watch a show, we immerse ourselves in it. As we immerse ourselves, we lose track of time, transitioning ourselves into the escapism realm. This realm makes binge watching feel so addictive because we are now actively participating in an immersive alternate reality.
Education plays a role in this experience as well. Documentaries, crime shows, reality shows blend entertainment with education. So we're not exactly wasting our time. We're learning, we're educating ourselves, we're being mindful and we're being demure. At least that's what we're telling ourselves. I don't know if my IQ levels have gone up or...
We have The Lost Realm by Pine and Gilmore, the aesthetic realm. Aesthetic ties into binge watching as well, since viewers appreciate a beautiful content. Whether it's admiring the cinematography, costumes, or complex storylines, binge watching allows us to appreciate shows not just for their entertainment value, but for their artistic expression as well. For some, it's about savoring the narrative and the visual effects, which adds to the overall immersive experience.
The COVID-19 lockdowns heightened this phenomenon. With everyone being stuck at home, binge watching went from a casual habit into a habit that was routinized into people's daily routines. Streaming platforms like Netflix, Disney+, Amazon, Hulu saw a rise in activity. In fact, research from Exploding Topics tells us that Netflix welcomed over 16 million new subscribers globally in a matter of weeks during the pandemic. Shows like Money Heist and Tiger King became a global sensation. It was everything that everyone was talking about. I'm sure that you might have been too. It was bringing people together with a shared experience when everything else felt uncertain. Over 60% of binge watchers during the pandemic had admitted that they weren't binge watching as much as they were before the pandemic occurred. Binge watching was being used to bring a sense of normalcy and comfort into people's life when it felt uncertain and isolated.
In this sense, binge watching during COVID became a form of emotional self-care. As the world slowed down, we sped up our consumption of visual content. We tried to fill a sense of void with shows and movies that helped us escape. While it offered a temporary relief, it also turned into a social norm, blurring the lines between entertainment and escapism. This cements the dopamine loop as part of our daily lives. So, while binge watching may seem harmless on the surface, it reflects a deeper craving for emotional escape, one that is becoming increasingly difficult to resist.
From a societal perspective, the implications of binge watching is to foster shared experiences, as people like to collectively come together and share their favorite movies and shows.
This shared culture consumption can enhance social cohesion through discussions on social media with friends or family.
However, it also contributes to the growing on-demand culture, where instant gratification is prioritized, potentially leading to shorter attention spans and a shift away from other forms of social interaction and outdoor activities.
On a managerial level, streaming platforms have adapted their strategies to capitalize on binge-watching behavior, releasing entire seasons at once or developing algorithms to encourage prolonged viewing.
While this boosts engagement and subscriber retention, it raises ethical concerns about content design that may promote addictive viewing habits.
This also affects content production and marketing strategies, as companies must continuously create new content to maintain viewer interest.
Binge watching can offer relaxation and a sense of escape.
However, excessive consumption can lead to negative outcomes such as sleep deprivation, decreased physical activity, and impaired mental well-being.
This type of prolonged screen exposure can also blur the line between leisure and dependency, impacting productivity and emotional health.
For some, binge watching may interfere with relationships or daily responsibilities, creating a tension between personal enjoyment and long-term health.
Now that we've seen the implications, what recommendations can be given to those struggling with the excessive use of binge watching?
Well, Therese, the key would be to create a structured viewing schedule and stay mindful of your physical and mental health. Small breaks and setting limits on episodes can prevent the negative consequences of binge watching.
Taking part in other activities such as exercise helps break the cycle of binge watching.
What results do you think that these recommendations can achieve?
These recommendations can lead to a more balanced lifestyle where media consumption doesn't interfere with personal responsibilities of well-being.
They can also promote healthier habits both for individuals and society as a whole, reducing issues like sleep deprivation or sedentary behavior.
But how can we ensure that we don't repeat the same mistakes in managing our viewing habits?
One way is to regularly reflect on how binge watching affects your routine. For example, noticing when it impacts your work or social life and adjusting your habits accordingly.
How can businesses and content creators innovate to enhance the binge watching experience for viewers?
Businesses can create interactive features such as personalized recommendations or social viewing options to make the experience more engaging. This could encourage viewers to connect with others or take breaks rather than watching non-stop.
From a media perspective, creators could also consider more thoughtful pacing in content to prevent viewers from feeling overwhelmed. Businesses could also add more features that encourage mindful consumption, such as built-in pauses or suggestions for reflective discussion.
Thank you for those insights. As binge watching continues to rise, prioritizing our health and well-being is more crucial than ever. If you or someone you know is struggling, remember that health and healthier viewing habits are within reach.
Binge watching has numerous causes and far-reaching implications from health issues to social impacts.
It's clear that binge watching is consuming our lives, and it will continue to do so unless we address it with effective solutions.
As we navigate this habit, it is vital to prioritize our health and well-being.
By implementing these strategies, we can continue to enjoy watching our favorite shows without compromising our lives.